people who couldn't make it. So again, welcome everybody. Just want to mention that Governor Ann was hoping to be here today, but she couldn't make it. She sent her regrets. We do have a couple of members of our Public Image Committee here. David Barry and Michelle Starwalt-Woods is here. If I'm missing anybody, just chime in at any time. I also wanted to mention that it's nice to see Paul McAfee here. Paul is a long-standing former PI chair whose work we still come across on when working on the website, and it's kind of interesting to see that come up. I came across we set up an area in the website recently on writing a media release, and there was a document there from that Paul had posted in 2005. So I've left that in that area on that page as a legacy, because I thought it was pretty cool to see that there. So, you know, this isn't something new. We're trying to do new things, but glad that you join us. So
can I throw in a gratuitous comment?
Absolutely.
Or compliment, actually. You guys are doing great. It's really professional. I look at the work that you're doing with the web and the communications, and it puts my work was all sort of narrowly focused on social media and gaining reach for the local clubs. But the stuff you're doing is very professional and wonderful.
Well, we appreciate that, Paul. It's good to hear that. We're certainly trying to do that. Maybe we could actually get started. Is there anybody who had Yolanta, you wanted to say something?
Yes, before we start, I just wanted to inform everyone that I will have to leave at 6 o'clock because we have a board meeting. So
okay.
I will just disappear, okay, without saying goodbye or anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, you'll be able to catch up because we are recording it, and we will be posting it on the website as well within the next few days, so you can catch up with that. Okay, so we're gonna start by one of the things that Governor Ann kicked off just after Christmas was or the New Year was the Strengthen Rotary campaign. And that was trying to bring club PI chairs together with some common objectives. And you've all been kind of tied into that through some emails that we've been sending out. So we're just wondering if we can get some general feedback or any questions from anybody on how that went for you. To explain, one of the things that we wanted to really do was to try and get people on. Some people are, well, we have a number of people who are at kind of at different stages in terms of their comfort with social media. And so we want to make sure that we were providing support to those that were kind of new to it, and at the same time helping to provide or coordinate relevant content for those that were more experienced. So I'm just wondering if we could maybe open it up, and if anybody wants to just chime in and provide some commentary to that on how you experienced it. Sherry, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, so I'd like to say that I really appreciated the call to action with very defined, this is what we want you to do, and then providing a seed for germination, I would say. So I recruited one of my newer members to get his perspective when he sees what has been put out from the district. Just having the call of action was helpful. We didn't always follow what was offered, mainly because they were too long. The videos were really nice, but we didn't see anybody likely to actually watch it on Facebook. The people that come to our Facebook page. So we sometimes took that as inspiration and did a still shot that was similar or something more towards our club, but still using the intent of what it was. It wasn't without getting some negative feedback from one of my club members who doesn't like to be dictated by the district. But I thought it was great.
Actually, if I could just make a comment on that, when we did the website refresh project, one of the things that we noted when we were doing our first survey on that, looking at what different people had out there in terms of websites and what they were looking for. It was a learning experience for me because I'm still fairly new to Rotary. I've been a Rotarian for 3 years. So what I discovered through that is that each club has its own personality and its own focus. And I think that's one of the strengths of Rotary. So, you know, we've tried to keep that in mind that, you know, there's no way that we can create a cookie cutter kind of message that it's going to be relevant to everybody. So Sherry, when you say that, you know, like you kind of catered the message to your own club, that's exactly what we want to see happen. You know, we want to provide some content for people who really are not sure or unsure of what to do, but really just motivate people to go ahead and tell their story, tell their club's story.
I love the latest video that goes through the 7 areas of focus. So what we're now doing is trying to create one specifically to our club, covering the 7
Nice.
areas of focus. Having a hard time coming up with water hygiene, but we'll get one done.
That's good. Great.
That is great. Sue, as an AG in Area 5, when you were talking about this strengthening Rotary campaign to your club presidents, what was some of the feedback you were receiving?
Yeah, so I had some negatives and I also had some positives. So I deal with 3 clubs, and the one club is not active at all on social media or any kind of even their website hasn't been updated for quite a few years, and we've been working with them to try and get that changed, but that hasn't really happened. My club, Lincoln, we're quite willing to put stuff up, and we're very active on social media, and we're very active on our website. Like, we update it every week and everything else. I have Katie here from Lincoln, and she's my right-hand man, helping us get things up on the social media. And actually, she's linked us up now with Instagram and Twitter, and we have a Linktree link so that it takes us to all the different things that we want to move our people towards. So with our club, it's been quite positive because we were already doing it. The other clubs are struggling a bit because they don't have somebody that's assigned to do the social, you know, the public imaging things and the social media things. They've had people do it in the past, but they're having trouble right now trying to get people recruited for that. I think everybody was kind of just kind of zoomed out, and you know, all the emails coming, you were getting like, so that was what I got. It was basically that the emails were coming out a little bit too quickly for people to keep up, especially if they didn't have somebody that was dedicated to doing that. And also, like Sherry said, some of the stuff was a little bit longer, and so you don't always get the views that you want. I tended to pick something that was a little bit shorter or break it up, like not put it all out at once, so that it was a little bit smaller bites, so that because people just click, right? And so if they don't get to the message right away, then they don't bother reading the rest of the message. So with Katie's help, we've kind of tried to, you know, just have some key words there and not a big long story, so that people look at it and you know, and we direct them to our website and to our social media pages so they can get more information if they're interested.
Just out of curiosity, how many of you that are in charge of public image social media accounts, how many of you boost your posts? Smaller number, but some do.
Are you able to share a little bit in terms of your experience with that? I guess I saw Jolanta and Scott both.
We have, in our club, we have a public image that I lead, but we also have a Rotary Holiday House Tour that is very well established, and we actually hire a marketer for that, and she does her own marketing. And so from September till December, I don't have much to do with social media because it's all consumed by the house tour. And she does spend quite a bit of money, like $100, $200 per, certain post. But then I was watching her results and my results when I'm posting just the content from our club. And to tell you the truth, the engagement is pretty good without money. That all depends on what is the content. I post 3 times. So I post one on Mondays. I try to post information from the district, Wednesday from the Rotary International, and on Friday I do our club. When I do our club, I have a lots of engagement, and people are really interested, and they like and they put comments. When I do sharing from RI or district, there is very minimal engagement. Mostly Lisa is liking everything that I post.
She certainly does keep current on what's happening with the clubs. That's and I think that's a good point that you make there in terms of your house tour. That's something you're marketing like far beyond your local community. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense what you're doing there in terms of hiring that marketer, because you want to bring people out to Niagara-on-the-Lake, and people go from all over Niagara to see that. So, and
she's very efficient. She's been doing that for 10 years, so way before I got on board. So I'm just letting them do whatever they're doing because they are doing excellent job. So
that's great. Thank you for that, Jolanta. Dave, Barry.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I just want to recognize that if you put something in the newspaper these days, the newspapers have such a dwindling subscription that they're absolutely useless, and they cost thousands of dollars. And I don't know what budget you had for your house tours or this sort of thing, but $1,000 in social media will blanket everything. It will make a real difference. I would say that most events, if you spend $100 on it, you're getting great returns.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, you were mentioning that you do some.
Yeah, I mean, we put all our events on Facebook, and boosting a post with $20 will reach 5,000 people. And we did a shredding event last fall, and we would take down information about where people heard about the event. And there was a great percentage of people who came to the event who had seen it on our Facebook post, who were not our Facebook friends. So the boost actually worked pretty well. And like I agree with Dave, the minimal cost is so worth the exposure. So those are little things that we're learning about as we go along here.
I think Lauren had his hand up, and then Sherry. Yeah.
Yes. Be aware that Torstar, who owns the 3 major dailies that still exist in Niagara, St. Catharines, Welland, and Niagara Falls, also has weeklies, Fort Erie Post in our example. And they have donated money. Our president was able to wangle $2,000 worth of free ads from them. We're looking at what format we can create. Maybe this crest behind me, and then to the right of that, a line like make peace, join Rotary, visit on our website, that kind of stuff, and other lines. I heard Under the Influence on the CBC radio a few weeks ago, and the issue was about negative advertising. So I brainstormed a whole bunch of different titles like, are you selfish? Don't join Rotary. I figured for sure I'd get into trouble from the rest of you, but I'll do it anyway if I can wangle it. But the point is, and then under that I would put service above self, or we profit most to serve best, that kind of thing. But it would certainly attract attention because it's different from anything, and that's what we want to do: people to notice that we exist, as opposed to, and the right people. What's our target market? That became the other issue. Guys who've got white hair and perhaps are retired or semi-retired or about to retire. People are moving in from Toronto. They sold for $1 million, they buy for 500,000 and buy a motorhome and, oh, gee, we can travel again. The pandemic's over, maybe. That sort of thing. So, or are they just fed up with being involved in anything? They love the town because everybody else has volunteered and made it nice, but they don't understand that that won't continue if they don't volunteer, right? So that's sort of where the situation in our town that we're working to do. And I think that as far as websites, we have two: a standard website, rotaryforterie.org. And by the way, we chose to put Rotary first. Many clubs do, Welland Rotary instead of Rotary Welland, because when you type in Fort Erie, you're going to get a whole bunch of things. If you type in Rotary in Fort Erie, you get only a few things, and that's what we wanted people to be able to access easily. Anyway, and then we also have a Facebook website, which is facebook.com Rotary Fort Erie. We don't have the other stuff. Why? Because I'm the Facebook editor, or whatever the word is. And although we were the 12th insurance broker in Canada in 1978 to even have a computer, I haven't a clue how to do Instagram and all the others. I have to turn to my wife to say, can you help me with this Facebook thing? I can't get it to work, etc.
Well, Lauren, you're going to have a look at the toolbox that that Dave Barry's built for you on the website there, and have a look at that. I know it's helped me with a couple of things as well. So I want to just so let's if we could just move on to Sherry, and then to
So quick question for Scott. You connect your credit card to pay for that boost? Because years ago I did that on my personal one, and now I still get messages from Facebook saying I owe them money.
Yeah, that was my personal credit card. Yeah, and I have had no issues. I think the first time I had the issue because I think I double did it, or I clicked it twice, whatever, and didn't mean to do that. So I didn't pay for one and paid for the other, and but that was about the only time I messed up on it. After that, it's been really pretty smooth going forward.
I was just going to have a comment to Lauren that I don't think his crest meets RI guidelines.
Yeah, I figured that might attract some attention from higher up.
Sherry, and then we'll go to the others, but that's a good point. So my personal credit card is attached, and I serve on a few boards too. So when I boost posts for different entities, it still comes off of my credit card, but through the account billing system on Facebook, all I have to do is go to Ad Manager, and I can see for the month what entities I boosted for, and then I can submit that invoice if I so choose to the different entities, just like we've done with the Strengthening Rotary campaign through our district. At the end, I'll submit to the Public Image Committee of the monetary amounts that I put into the campaign. I haven't had any problems of my credit card being compromised or anything like that. It's pretty safe.
Paul.
Was somebody else waiting ahead of me to talk?
I don't think so, Paul.
Okay, I'll go ahead. So I strongly encourage boosting. I also strongly encourage being very selective about what you pick for demographics and geographic reach. During the 7 years that I was public image director for the district, we got a total between the district and RI of $80,000 in funding. And I used a little of it on LinkedIn, but almost all of it specifically for clubs to boost. Back then it was something different, but to boost their posts, to build the number of likes the clubs have. And I think we had out of the district 20 or 30 clubs. I have all the spreadsheets with all the data on it. And the majority of them went from single digit likes or low double digits to over 1,000 likes. And that tends to be persistent over time as long as they're actively managing their Facebook pages. So it is really worthwhile. The challenge is you have to have a budget. And as Paul Lehman knows, our club doesn't have a budget. And the reason I type the words "not yet" in the chat is I get, every time I open up Facebook, I'm told to settle my account. And the reason it wants me to settle my account is because whatever credit card was there in the past has been deleted. There isn't any money owed. They just want to sort of embarrass me into putting a credit card in. And when I do, it'll be my credit card and it'll be my money. So I'm waiting until we have some things that I want to run a test on for the Lockport area. But I will pick 10494 and a couple of zip codes in the immediate vicinity. When I ran the campaign for the district, I ran under 50 years. I tended to set a age range of 25 to 50. I tried to make sure that it was biased in favor of women. I really tried to build the campaigns, and I don't know how they've changed since then, the selections that are available, but I tried to build the campaigns around diversity and youth because we don't have a hard time getting old people into the clubs. You know, the average age of many clubs is deceased. So what we needed to do is get younger people. So I just want to add my vote in favor of using boosting, but you have to get the club to understand it and put some money in so you're not spending your own money.
Good. David Barry.
Yeah, and what you got to recognize is that you have different agendas every time you create something. And the different agendas are going to have different demographics and where you're going to. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're doing an event that is a rib fest, you will narrow right down to anybody who is above drinking age, and follow that through with hopefully being able to market it to that area. And you won't be in just this area, you'll be spreading it out further. But if you're looking for membership, it's going to be narrowed down to a specific area and talking only about the demographics that you're interested in.
And one thing I want to comment, and then we can move on to the next category, but Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or whomever the entity is, they have final say as to approving a boost or an ad or not allowing it to run. And then they'll give you a very vague reason. They won't give you a very specific reason. And in the past, even running for district, something wouldn't run and it would say does not meet, Facebook, Instagram standards. And then I would question, like, why? And then my entire ad account would get locked. So the next time that it didn't approve, I didn't say a word, and then they locked my account again. And oddly enough, I've looked back at the times that it's been locked, and sometimes it has to do with like either posting a Canadian flag and an American flag, or in my area, if I post an American flag on something, they tend to not, I don't know, not all the time, but in specific situations. And again, they're the boss. They can make that decision. So if it ever happens to you, don't be shocked because it does happen sometimes on the regular.
Yeah, I think they also look for anything that looks like it's a political
right.
meaning. So if you mention Governor Ann, they might just
shut it down right away, right?
Down. But if you just say DG Ann, you can probably get away with it. So
absolutely.
I think we can move along.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know exactly where we just kind of laid out a general agenda. We don't kind of stick to it specifically. One of the things that Governor Ann wanted us to kind of cover off is using social media and events that the clubs run to get non-Rotarians involved in our activities. And I'm just wondering if we could have some general feedback on that. Anybody who wants to share about what they might be doing in terms of the Great Lakes watershed cleanup, because that's the perfect example of an event that has broad attraction beyond Rotary clubs, and it's an opportunity to make our clubs more relevant in the community in general, get non-members involved. So just wondering if anybody had any comment on. I see Lauren's hand there.
Yes, Lauren's eating at the same time, so that's why you're only seeing forgery. Anyway,
like a turtle.
Yeah, exactly.
Bobblehead.
So Fort Erie is has worked in the past with Friends of Fort Erie Creeks. We have a park that we've got a sign up from the town saying this is a Rotary manicured park or whatever you want. We're going to do various things in that park. So we're going to do that. We've asked various high schools to help, and we're hoping to do something with Friends of Fort Erie Creeks. We are hoping that we can manage this to get results of other people along with us. However, I don't know, have any of you seen the Rotary Club of Buffalo Sunrise is doing bald for cancer, or whatever the phrase is. And they have this fantastic video, really simple. Two guys sitting there. One looks a little older and more staid, and the other guy is bald. And during this thing, he kept changing hats. It was only 45 seconds long, so it would be watched. It would be fun and funny. And I can see using a similar format for almost anything we do. Tonight, we're part of Catch the Ace, a Rotary Ontario lottery, which is very slow to start. But if we can manage to, and Fort Erie was the capital of bingo, the bingo capital of Canada for many years. So we're hoping that it really works well here. But tonight at 7, there's a lecture by a marketing guy who's going to give us some ideas as to how to do it. I've sent that video to him for him to, he said he'll work with us all and doing it. So those are some ideas.
Thank you.
Sherry, you've got your hand up, Sherry?
Yes, I do. So I'm struggling a little bit on the water cleanup because our club has for the last, I'm trying to remember, 1993, we started the Adopt a Highway, and we do that semi-annually. So last year we moved our spring to Earth Day to coincide one with the water cleanup, and our community started an all island cleanup. So lots of groups are doing it. And we're trying to encourage that all island cleanup. So how to market it? So one, it's showing Rotary supporting this, and the different layers of branding that's out there, trying to coordinate between the different, names of watershed, Adopt a Highway. Now we've got green, the group that's putting together the shoreline trails. So we're looking to drop the trail that runs along our highway and coordinating all that. And it needs to be a clear,
Sherry?
yeah, Niagara Greenway. Thank you. So I know the postings that we need to do from our club need to have a clear message. And if you don't have a clear message in your own mind, how to sort through all those issues, I'm looking for suggestions.
I'll comment on that real quick, and then I saw Joan raise her hand, but our club, my club, Dunkirk Fredonia, chose to adopt a beach program last year and doing the same thing this year, but running it simultaneously with the Great Lakes watershed cleanup. And so, in our press releases and our social media, we made sure to credit the Adopt a Beach, but that the Rotary Club of Dunkirk Fredonia supports our district-wide mission, Great Lakes watershed cleanup, through like these different avenues, which is actually great because you're getting more entities involved that everybody knows and kind of, follows to begin with. So when you can pull other entities in like that, your vision and your likes and your shares and your notices will increase dramatically. So that's really a benefit. Get it clear, but it's a benefit.
The other thing you want to make sure you do is also when you're doing your activities, make sure you post photos of what you're doing and share it to there's a Rotary Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup group, Facebook group, which you can share it to as well. And there's a lot of other organizations that are being kind of brought in, or linked to through that group as well. So any other organizations that you want to plug or get or kind of share to that group, feel free to do that. We're all working on similar things, right? So
Mhm.
was it Joan who was
Yes.
Hi, it's actually Joanne.
Joanne?
Um,
Sorry, yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll just quickly introduce myself because normally you would see Jim Simpson here, and Jim wasn't able to make it because he's in a championship curling game tonight. So that took precedent, I'm afraid. So I do sit on the PI committee with Jim. So he asked me if I could sit in. So I was just going to comment briefly when Lauren talked about Catch the Ace, and you were asking about how do you get non-Rotarians, involved or make sure they're seeing your things. We've been doing Catch the Ace for several years now, very successfully. And we sell 500 tickets a week when we're running that draw. And it's announced on our Facebook page who wins the weekly draw each week. And that is a huge draw of non-Rotarians to our Facebook page. They are on our Facebook page all the time looking for that information to find out who won. Even people in the community who don't play or don't buy a ticket are interested in who won. So that's been a big boost for us, getting non-Rotarians onto our Facebook page. And then, of course, if we're running an event that might be, we had an event called Take a Bite Out of Norfolk, which were gift bags that we were selling. That was on Facebook, and then we're drawing them to that page as well. But I was interested. I really liked your comments on the boosting. I think that's something that we have done, but not often. And I was just thinking about the virtual membership Zoom meeting we're having tomorrow that we've been advertising on our Facebook page, web page. We did put it in our local newspaper as well, but that would have been something good that we could have boosted in retrospect, for sure.
Well, just as an aside, glad you could join us, Joanne. For the rest of you, the Area 1 clubs have kind of joined together to work on public image cooperatively amongst themselves. And I think that's been very successful at Joanne, in terms of kind of the working together because you have so many common events that you're running together already as well, right? So
Yeah.
Right.
How can you speak to that a little bit, Joanne, in terms of how that's working out?
As in everyone working together on?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
That's something that Jim probably could talk to better than I could. I do know that as a club, we are very active on social media, and I will give Jim a lot of credit for that. He has, we've got an excellent Facebook page, website, all of that going on. But yeah, he probably could talk better to the coordination.
Good. David.
I'm going back to my previous comment, which what you're talking about is an event, and what you're recognizing is that you're getting an awareness campaign out of it. So I think you've got to recognize that those two objectives are so complementary that really what you need to do is to be able to broaden the horizon of that. And you can do that by putting it in several different platforms. In other words, Facebook can go into LinkedIn or into Instagram very easily. And when you post something, all you have to do is say, yeah, post this in Instagram. And if you put a hashtag on this sort of thing, you end up, and it's really a matter of recognizing that the breadth of this sort of thing is going to let people say, that's quite a campaign you're doing there. Congratulations. And it's an awareness campaign at the same time.
So we have 3 people with hands up here, and I have to confess I've lost track of the order. So maybe I'll start with Paul. Go ahead, and then Lauren, and then Sandy.
Okay, so I put my hand down. So we come back to the issue of boosting. This morning I decided we're doing a cleanup along the Erie Canal. We do several of these a year in the Lockport area, and we're doing one this Saturday. And I decided, I've been out of Facebook actively for a few years, so I decided to try posting a volunteer post. It took me an hour. I think I tried 5 different versions before I finally got it right. And then I deleted a couple, not realizing, I think Sherry mentioned this, that Facebook has to approve it. So it wasn't showing up on the page, and I didn't know I was waiting for Facebook to approve me asking for people to help pick up trash along the Erie Canal. So the point I'm making here is that I am going to try to, since I'll have to pay personally for any boosting we do, I'm trying to find other ways to get a broader audience, and publicizing our community of activities that people could join is one of the things that I'm doing. And I don't think I'll try to boost that particular one. I think that's enough.
Over to Lauren.
This is a different direction here, but we're doing this watershed cleanup. And it hit me, we talked about it, we mentioned the fact that they got all these Tim Hortons and McDonald's coffee cups that are non-recyclable and they're non-biodegradable. They can't be used. They got to go in the garbage for 10,000 years. And there are coffee cups that are made of paper exclusively, including, it's the plastic liner that causes the problem. Well, they've got a plastic made from wood, from paper, that is biodegradable. What would happen if every Rotary Club doing the watershed cleanup put the Tim Hortons cups in one bag and the McDonald's cups in another bag and went to the local outfit, and found particularly the franchisee and said to them, hey, talk to your people farther up the line. It's got to cost you 5 cents at the most to get the biodegradable coffee cups that can go in the green bins. We could make a big impact, and I think it would have a lot of effect. Do you think it'd work, or do you think I'm wasting time thinking about it?
Not sure. So it's an idea to talk about. Sandy, over to you, Sandy Shard.
I actually wanted to go on Sherry Miller, where you have the group already doing like a watershed cleanup, and our club wants to do a watershed cleanup. We talked about it at district council this week. I think it was Scott that came up with the idea, is why don't you piggyback on it, have all your club members wear t-shirts or wear a shirt that makes sure when you go out and people go, wow, who are all those blue people? That it's Rotary. And I know it's not advertising on Facebook or all that, but it's a way to do it. And then from there, take pictures. But the idea is to piggyback on there's no problem piggybacking, and they like it too, because you've piggybacked on it as well. We have done a video that we've done for the watershed for our own club. I have not had a lot of hits, but I had a lot of engagement. So I think that's the other thing we have to look at. Are you getting people engaged, or are you getting hits? And I think the engagement's more important.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, Sandy. Is you can have a lot of people see a post, if they don't click through to follow it and get more information, it's not as valuable as it is if they're actually going and looking for more information. Sue Foster.
I just wanted to comment a little bit on Sherry's as well. So our club, we're doing the Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup, and we are partnering with the Grimsby clubs. And we actually created a website that's specifically for the Great Lakes Watershed of West Niagara, we call it. And we also did a specific Facebook page. And on our website, what we did, we went out to all the towns. We went out to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. We went out to Green Venture. We went out to ArcelorMittal. We got them all to partner. So they're going to do cleanups, and they're going to send all their matrices to us, and we can put them on our website and say, okay, this was a big, huge cleanup that this Area 5 Rotary Club has done. So we're kind of doing the same thing. Like, we're piggybacking onto things that are already happening in the community. But we're just asking them, can you send everything to us so that we can put it all together and we can see what the big impact of all of these individual cleanups are doing. And then as far as boosting, Katie just reminded me through the chat, we belong to a lot of community pages. I'm sure everybody else here does as well. So, there's the Grimsby Lincoln community page. There's a bunch of different community pages. You share this stuff with the community pages, that gets it out into your community, the ones that want to do cleanups. And I've actually had some comments come back in through is Rotary doing a cleanup this year because we want to do a cleanup because we went on the trail and it's looking really messy after all the snow is gone. And so we basically say, yeah, we're going to do a cleanup. So, hold off, or actually, if you want to clean up now and just record what you cleaned up and send it into us, great. We'll add it to our whole event so that it's all, sort of compounds it. And you get a better idea of how much garbage is actually being picked up, even if they're not there the official day of your cleanup.
One of the things that, just as an aside here, the Lincoln Club has been doing, I believe it's yours, Sue, that posting regular posts on featuring a club member. I think that's an awesome idea.
Well done.
That gets, an individual, a person that is recognized in the community. It gets their picture out there. It really does broaden the exposure. Do you have any experience in terms of how that's working and how that's working out for you?
Yeah, actually I can let Katie speak to that since she's being very quiet over there, but I had suggested that we do something like that, some kind of membership thing. And I said to Katie, can you take this on and figure out something? So she's come up with an actual sort of template for the posts all the time, so they look all the same. So Katie, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you know what, Katie?
That's fine. I can talk.
Great idea.
So basically we had to first collect the information from the Rotarians. So I just did a Google form with a bunch of questions. How long have you been with Rotary? Why did you join? What's your favorite memory? Personal information that you might want to share, something about your business. So we sent that out, and then I had started an email specifically for social media. So I didn't have to be putting my personal email in all the time. And so then we asked them, once they've submitted that questionnaire, to send a picture. Some people do the questionnaire and don't send a picture, so I stalk them, or Sue stalks them on Facebook, and we steal a picture from their profiles. Or, Sue's got a lot of pictures just from Rotary events in the past, so we've just kind of stolen those. And then I just use Canva for everything. So I've just made a template with a photo frame in it, and we can just pop that in, and we have the basic form that we want to go by. And I just actually told Sue to reach back out to the membership because we've run out of people to feature. So hopefully we'll get some more traction with that. But they are extremely, the amount of interaction we get with all of those has been incredible. When you compare personal posts on our Instagram and our Facebook to, a generic graphic, it's, we get thousands of eyes on it rather than just a few, because people like it and then it gets shared everywhere else. So yeah, it's been fun.
That's
Excellent.
great. Sherry.
So I wanted to come back to the t-shirt. Is there going to be a group buy that we could get in on for a better price?
I'm not sure about that, but I will.
You might want to contact Frank Adamson about that. I think he handled that last year, and he might be able to hook you up, Sherry.
Okay, I will follow up with Frank then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to Paul.
So the other thought that I had is, rather than paying for boosting and struggling for an hour in Facebook to get a volunteer post up, another option is getting our members, those members who are active on social media, to share the stuff we post.
Yeah.
And asking them to do it at a club meeting is like talking to a brick wall. Nothing happens. So does anybody have any incentives that you've used, anything that you've tried to get the other members who are on social media to share your club posts, which I try to write for the public, not for the club. The audience is people who could be active in our club or interested in it. Any way to get members of the club motivated to watch for those and then share them when they see them.
I'm the only one with my hand up. A lot of the time we'll tag people on the post, so you can just add with their name. I posted Sue's husband. And so I added Sue and was like, recognize this guy. And once she interacts in the comments, it will go on her Facebook and all over the place. Another thing that I really want to recommend is don't be a passive social media user. Like if you are on social media on Instagram and Facebook, interact with your community. We get a lot of traction from the library and from the town of Lincoln because we tag them in a lot of things as well. So they'll share our stories on their stories. And, you know, all it takes is a like or a short little comment when you're scrolling through whoever you're following on Instagram. And a lot of the time, if you tag, you know, community members, they're going to tag you back. And so that's had a lot of positive results for us as well.
That's a very good comment, Katie. I think just a recommendation to people, if you find out who your communications person is at your local municipality, that's huge in terms of promoting your events. Michelle, go ahead.
And then when you are an admin on your club's Facebook page or social media page, you have the option of looking at, you know, the Fort Erie cleanup day that has nothing to do with Rotary. You have the opportunity to go to that page and you can change your icon. Like, so it's no longer Michelle interacting, it's District 7090 Facebook page interacting. You can like it, you can comment on it, you can share it. And when that happens, sometimes you'll notice that those page administrators will end up asking you as the Rotarian page to like their page or to follow them. And then it becomes reciprocal after that. And then again, you can tag your people on that post acting as the Facebook person and not your own Facebook, not your own page, but your Rotary page.
So I'm watching the time a little bit here. We've got about 10 minutes left. Just wondering if we can open it up to people and to give us some ideas in terms of what you would like to, what we can do for you as a public image committee. We're here for you. We want to make sure that we're doing things that are relevant. So if you could give us some ideas or suggestions or requests or just some general feedback, that'd be really appreciated.
Dave, this is Paul Lehman. Paul McAfee is our public image chair, and I was invited by a couple of people to look in on it. I'm on our public image committee with Paul. This is sort of irrelevant to the discussion up to this point, but increasingly we dismiss print journalism. And I know that's getting away from the topic, but old school me, in addition to being social media savvy,
Oh,
He froze.
I think, yeah, you locked up there, Paul. Paul, maybe I could just speak while he's trying to get some bandwidth back.
Swedish.
So he's talking, Paul was talking about print media. Definitely that's important. And we did just recently expand our section to have some ideas around writing a media release. And hopefully that's relevant to some people. It is worth doing that every time you have a story.
Can you hear me now? I just wanted to say.
Go ahead. I was filling some air time for you there.
Thank you. I moved to another room. I have to leave very shortly for rehearsal. So I just wanted to say that our print media that some people would dismiss for our evening event to raise money for water purifiers for Kenya, a woman sent us a check for $1,000. She probably isn't on social media, so she basically doubled our tips that evening. Just a testimony.
That's great. That's fantastic. And we are aware that people have been asking about media releases and some guidance with that. So if you can have a look at the website and give us some feedback on that, I'd appreciate it. Just some practical step-by-step stuff that we've put there.
So I'll leave it to Paul McAfee to carry on. Thank you. Bye.
So Charlene, I see your hand up there.
Yes, I thought I'd better speak up finally, as I'm just basically here to introduce myself. I'm coming from the St. Catharines Rotary Club, and this is my first meeting to speak of, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I just wanted to let you know, I'm lucky enough that I've got a couple people that are working with me on communication. So they're very young and they're very web savvy. And I basically provide the copy and they do all the posting. So it's taking some pressure off of me, but I'm finding this very, very useful and I'm making copious notes here. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlene. Sandy.
Oh, going on Paul's that we do not always using social media. I know that the Montiel Club is doing the Kinsman home show. They're going to be at the home show, and we're doing the Canada Games. But I've been walking the Penn Center every day because it's the only place that's warm enough to walk. And I noticed a booth there that they will give to organizations for free that they can put their stuff there. I'm sure there's a lot of malls out there doing the exact same thing. I wouldn't want to do it just for St. Catharines Lakeshore Club. You'd want to do it for all the clubs together like Dale High and all that are doing. But that's something that maybe the publicity people could get us banners or something that would work for that. Because sometimes the stuff we have is old, outdated, like Lauren's Sport Area thing. Is it legal, not legal now? You know, trying to get some modern things up there. So that's another idea.
Thank you. David Barry, I believe. We can't hear you, David.
Yeah, I know. I was just cursing there, so I'm glad you didn't.
Oh, well, you'd have to edit yourself. We'll have to edit you out then.
No. I really liked what was said earlier, and especially with Charlene, because what she said, she's got these two young people that are doing the grunt work for her, and once she's produced the copy, I really, if you listen to what you're doing in this meeting, and if we took people like Katie and had them give us a sort of an acknowledgement of what her talents are being used for in Rotary. I mean, we have a perfect booster for membership here for young people. Over and over and over again, I keep saying our club itself is literally training young professionals. And that's what you're Katie, obviously you've got it. I want you to move to Niagara Falls, please. The point I'm saying is that this committee is doing what should be acknowledged across the district as a membership booster.
Mm-hmm.
And I congratulate you all. Sorry, that's off topic, but it's
Thanks,
a thought.
that. Charlene.
Oh, I know. Sorry, no. I'm done.
Hand back down.
Sorry, got to take it away.
You're good. Thank you. As we're starting to close down, we just want to remind everybody, and we're preaching to the choir of sorts, but we are here. We've taken our show on the road and appeared virtually during, club meetings, their weekly meetings, especially if some club members are a little more hesitant of getting into the whole social media world. We talked about Governor Ann's, how she wants this Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup event to be more than, Rotarians. And so, we can create event pages for that. Anytime you're sharing something on your own Facebook pages, if you bring it to Dave's attention, we'll make sure that we're getting it onto all of our social media posts as well. So, and so whatever, whatever we can help you with, we're here for you. And that being said, we're looking for people for the Public Image Committee. Al, our former PI chair, responded, and he did a phenomenal job, spearheaded the whole website refresh campaign. He stayed on for a year. Commitment is supposed to be 3 years, but Dave is thinking that maybe he won't be doing this for another 2 years. And so they're some of the best meetings, honestly, in the district. We meet every other Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're done by 8:45. And as I say, it gets your work week out to a phenomenal start. So keep that in mind, because we want you.
I just noticed one quick thing. the public image at d7090.org. The Earl, the website is rotary7090.org. Why would you, aren't we losing the word Rotary by using D? I understand all the Rotarians know it, but maybe we should be changing it to public image at rotary7090.org.
There's actually a practical reason for that, and that is that we have a Rotarian who has the mail service that he's providing us at that particular address. It would be a lot more expensive for us to set up individual email addresses at Club Runner to do the same thing. So just trying to be budget conscious on that. Good point, though, Lauren. That does make sense.
I can't, it's
Thank you.
not allowing me to change the pages.
Okay, so oh,
Here, Katie, here, there you go, Katie Appleyard.
Arlene, you're not on mute.
Arlene, we can hear you.
Sorry. Whoops.
so you can see there that Katie has shared the template there that she's using for and that's great.
It's just basic. It's just a bunch of squares, and I just add the Rotary Club of Lincoln. I don't know if everybody knows that you can take a logo and like remove the background. So I had to do that because our logos were pretty old. And then I had to match some colors as well. But yeah, that's basic.
That's awesome. Thank you, Katie.
No problem.
Lisa Bishop just our
I was at a DEI meeting that went a half an hour longer preparing for the pets. I was hoping to be here for a part of this at least, and I'm sorry.
We have been recording, Lisa, so you can catch up on everything that we've talked about. And actually, your timing is good. We're just about to wrap up. If you have anything that you'd like to add to our conversation before we wrap up, that'd be great.
Well, I'm not sure what all great things were said, but showcasing the impact of Rotary and the member experience, how we share with one another what we do in Rotary, in the family of Rotary, is so important. And showcasing our impact for recruiting more members and for, you know, our fundraising and thanking those that support us. So I thank everyone very much in the PI, that the PI committee we have at the district, but everyone that's out there. I see all sorts of things. I look at my phone regularly for Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and I see people are working very hard at getting the message out about what Rotarians are doing and the Rotary experience. So I thank everyone for being a part of the presentation tonight, and I thank you for all the work you do.
That's great. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you could join us for the last few minutes at least. So any final comments just before we close up?
Is that the new image in Lisa's background there, that banner?
It is. That's correct. That's for next year. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Imagine Rotary. Sherry, you had another comment to make before we close?
Yes. So I'm just thinking, okay, what's next? I know we do the polio promotion. That's in the fall, right?
October
For
24th.
polio. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe we could do the 1, 2, 3